Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Crypto Crow Show. I am here with Peter Huang and Dirk Meyer of EGRETIA, and we'll be right back after this quick disclaimer.
You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins.
Ladies and gentlemen, looks like Dirk is having some trouble with the YouTube delay, so we're gonna make sure he's got the picture of me to be able to look at, so that he knows I'm not making faces behind his back or anything.
Thank you, Jason.
Gentlemen, welcome.
You can still see me smiling and laughing, right?
I can still see you, absolutely. So, Peter and Dirk, glad to have you guys. This is a project that I think I kind of reviewed this a few weeks back, and I found it extremely interesting. And, being somebody that came from kind of an HTML, back when I first got into web design, when I was like, 18, I don't remember how old I was, teaching myself HTML in a weekend, cranking out web pages by Monday for companies, the changes that HTML has made, all the way up to HTML5, you could pretty much reprogram NASA with HTML5, and it can do just about anything you want it to do. So I'm actually very excited, and as a gamer, I'm very interested to see what comes of EGRETIA. So I guess we'll start with, and just to let everybody know, everybody that's posting UIDs right now, know that they're all going to be deleted. You're getting nothing. No, I'm kidding. But don't post your UIDs yet, because that makes it very difficult for legitimate questions to come through for the team, and I want to make sure. So we may wipe all those and only count the ones that are given after the announcement is made that we actually want them. So please follow the rules, okay? So here we go. Tell me, I'm not sure who you'd like to be the point person for this rail job. No, I'm kidding. But who I'm not sure who to address the initial questions to. But tell me about EGRETIA. I want to know about EGRETIA. I want to know about the EGRET partnership. I want to know everything you can tell me.
Yeah, I think, Jason, we have to share the burden here on the receiving end of your great show. So Peter and I, we will distribute as we go and answer for different areas where we feel the most comfortable. And
good deal.
Of course, we are expert in different areas. So here you go, Peter. You want to take the first one? EGRETIA relationship.
Yes. Okay, no problem.
He forgot the question. Here, so all right, Peter. So tell me, let's start with the very beginning here. Let's talk about what EGRETIA is. Tell me about the platform and what is your overall mission? What's your goal with EGRETIA? What part of the world are you looking to dominate with this thing?
Yes. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Peter, the CEO and founder of EGRETIA, and I have been in internet and the gaming industry for more than 18 years. I had my own startup company from 1990s. My startup company focused on mobile games and fresh web game development, and then I joined Adobe in 2010 as a fresh platform manager and as a fresh evangelist. I was promoting fresh technology gaming industry. In 2014, I joined EGRET as a co-founder. EGRET is an HTML5 engine and tools provider. During the past 4 years, we have got over 200,000 developers over the world, and the HTML5 games powered by EGRET have covered over 1 billion devices. and you can find a lot of games on the Facebook Messenger. Everybody can play the HTML5 games through through Facebook messengers. They call instant games. All of the games are powered by HTML5 technology, and over 40.
Push it real close to the screen or your camera. That way it doesn't reflect the light.
You can play a lot of HTML5 games, yes, and over 40% games powered by EGRETIA engine. Yeah, it's very popular now. And at the end of last year, I set up EGRETIA. My purpose is to combine blockchain with HTML5 technology and bring our existing developers and gamers into the blockchain world. So, and also we want to from the tools, the contents, and we want to build a brand new ecosystem based on the blockchain and for HTML5 gaming. HTML5 technology is where you can click and play without downloading. So it can be easily to be spread. So
basically, you're saying that with HTML5, you're able to play just about any game that's offered using HTML5 as kind of the engine without actually downloading a program first. Which is actually pretty significant considering anytime I download a game on my phone, I have to download the original game file, then I have to spend 20 minutes downloading all the internal game files, and by that time I'm so frustrated that I've been waiting because typically I play in the bathroom. So by the time the game is downloaded, I'm already done, I'm out of the bathroom, I don't care about the game anymore.
Yeah.
You shouldn't play games in the bathroom. That's a dangerous endeavor. Don't do that. So let me expand a little bit on what Peter just said. So quick introduction on my side. My name is Dirk Meyer. I'm California based. I'm working for Adobe Systems, and that's where the connection between Peter and myself is stemming from. Peter and I, we worked both at the Adobe R&D Center in Beijing. Peter and I became friends. Talked a lot about blockchain. At the time when I was there, I had a 5-year stint in Beijing, ending 2016. During that time, China was going crazy with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and it kind of has settled down with the strong measures of the Chinese government. But as Peter said, there is EGRETIA, basically the market leader in HTML5 games, definitely in China, with getting its hands out to companies like Facebook, for example, where 40% of the games are HTML5 games. So at some point, Peter and I started to, given that Flash is kind of in a downward direction, Adobe has decided to end of life it. And Flash is still a technology that needs to be downloaded before you can actually start gaming. And the huge advantage, you heard it, of HTML5, it's browser-based. You can launch a game in any browser, and then you can start playing. And that's the beauty of it. Many people in China, for example, they are gamers when they have a few minutes of spare time on their hand in the subway, in the bus, hopefully not while driving, but they can do their games whenever they want because they are quick to launch and quick to the gaming experience.
But it's not really just about gaming, though, right? Like you can do just about anything with HTML5. It's not just restricted to games.
That's absolutely correct, and that's where EGRETIA comes in. So Peter, being one of the founders of EGRET, and I had a close relationship to that company also while I was in Beijing still. In fact, many good Adobe folks were going over to EGRET. So we regret that EGRET was there, but on the other hand, it's a huge opportunity, right? So what EGRETIA brings to the mix here is EGRET already has a gaming platform, I would call it, with 14 or so products that cover different aspects in SDK form for HTML5 developers. An integrated development environment, advertising tools 14 of them, and there is an egret suite of products. However, what is missing, and so far was not absolutely necessary in this product suite, was blockchain technology functionality, and that's what EGRETIA brings to the mix. We want to make blockchain technology, and I can be more specific about how we see that, very easily accessible for developers who are developing HTML5 games. And that is truly the new aspect of our endeavor. Taking the proven success and the proven quality of egret and building underneath a foundation that relies on the advantages of blockchain. We want to use initially, well, I stop here and let you ask the questions. Otherwise, I get into this monologue thing, which is not
I do that too. Typically, mine involve a lot of cuss words and tears.
Yours is funnier. I get that. So that's just ask questions and
tell me a little bit about the. I guess there was a conference that you guys just did. Was that in Beijing? What can you tell me about that?
Yep, Peter, that was your conference. Go ahead.
Yeah. There are about over. I think there were over 600 people joining our conference, and at the conference I announced the world's first HTML5 blockchain workflow, and use our tools chain. Developers can use our development tools to quickly create games. All the process is easy and efficient. You can create project, use our IDE to edit code, use our animation tools to create awesome animations. And with our blockchain SDK, it's easy to integrate the token payment into the game and use our smart IDE to write smart contracts efficiently. Also, developers can use local node server and test valid to test the game. And after finish testing your game, just need one click to publish your game into blockchain world. You can, because it's based on HTML5 technology, you can publish it cross-platform. You can publish your blockchain games to the browser. You can publish your blockchain games into native apps, such as you can publish into iOS and Android. Yeah.
Okay. Couple things real quick. Number one, there are a lot of newcomers who apparently have not been following EGRETIA for a while, and they're completely clueless as to what this UID business is. What can people do during this interview to go get a UID and join the spam?
Well, the UID is the Telegram UID. If they click on their logo as a user, the UID should show up somewhere. It's nothing that is specific to EGRETIA. It's a Telegram UID that is being used for Telegram in our channel.
Gotcha. And so basically, join the channel.
Identify the users that will be hit by the airdrop, but only after we have done the announcement. So I say it again. UID and I love EGRETIA. No much how much you love EGRETIA. It's only going to work for an airdrop after we have announced it at the end of this interview.
Yeah, I don't think people. I was kind of curious, like how many people are watching this that don't even understand English, have a clue what we're saying in this interview. They're just kind of spamming their UID link over and over and over. They're not hearing us telling them to stop it. But that's okay.
If you can identify a question, Jason.
I have identified some in the mix. One of them actually is what, where can I, so I have always, since I was, 12, 13 years old, my dream has always been to build a game. I tried once, a real big game, failed miserably, went to hell in a handbasket, made me internet villain of the world for a few years. But I've always wanted to create a game. How easily could somebody who like I can use Dreamweaver, I can build stuff in WordPress, I can do some things, but I am not a hard coder. I have not hard coded anything since HTML when it first came out. And that was like, GIF images and, back when the internet was first kind of getting going and a website, So how effectively could somebody like me, let's just say a moron, okay? A moron like myself, how effectively could I create a game using EGRETIA? Like what sort of limitations would I find? And on top of that, when could I? Like when can I play with this and see what its limitations are? When can I try to take over the world myself with my own creations?
So Jason, first and foremost, developers are not morons. So you have to decide whether you're a moron or a developer.
Oh, I'm a moron. I am not a developer.
Okay,
I'm a wannabe.
If you are a true moron, you will not be able to develop. But here's what developers can do. Let's be serious for a moment. EGRET has a downloadable SDK that includes these 14 tools we were just talking about. And there's a development environment there. There is some graphic user interfaces like Dragon Bones, where you can create animations and things like that. So we try to keep it really on the easy side, not too much code overload, but visual development, how characters are moving and things like that.
Like WYSIWYG type? Or
this is already existing. This is EGRET. So now if you are a real developer, right, you can build games. And in fact, that's what the 200,000 developers who downloaded our SDK are already doing, right? So that's now. When it comes to adding these blockchain functionalities, so you have a token that we call EGRETIN. You want to start using that token as an asset in your game or in multiple games, because this is something that you will be able to do. Then you have to go into the test mode. We have already test SDKs available for developers where they can start playing with blockchain functionality in their existing games, right? Or they can start building a game in test mode that includes blockchain functionality. And maybe we have to talk about this, what this actually means. And do tests. Peter just mentioned there is a test node that we have set up, so they can upload their games, they can launch a browser and test their games in the browser. And so this is pretty much what every developer has to do before he goes live, leaving stage and goes into production, right? So that's already possible today. Now, why are we having this ICO? Because we want to popularize, we want to make popular EGRETIN as a token. One EGRETIN is the token of EGRETIA. It is basically a currency that will help users and developers to do their job, to have fun. You will be able to use EGRETIN as a currency in your games. You can buy assets, you can exchange them within a game, but what is very important, you can also use them outside of a game. So if a developer, for example, wants to put advertising into his or her games, then the developer can choose
whether he wants to get leg kicked or body slammed.
Developer can choose to be paid in EGRETIN, right? So for every click, he gets X EGRETIN by the person whose ad he or she is bringing in as a developer. So this is just, there's much more to this, but I do not want to talk too long again. So waiting for questions.
EGRETIA is an extensive tool for creating 2D games. What about 3D games? Do you think that 2D games will be in demand in the next several years?
Peter?
Yeah, we also have our 3D engine, and everybody can find the 3D engine from our official website. You can download it. HTML5 is not only for your 2D games, and you can create a 3D game also.
How does EGRETIA, how does your development platform and this could be a really big stretch, okay? So correct me if I'm reaching here. But how does the EGRETIA development platform compare to something like a Unity in terms of, development systems, add-on type, support for developers? Is there a comparison at all? Is this so vastly different that there's no comparison whatsoever, or can you kind of match the two up and then compare pros and cons of each in a similar fashion?
Unity is a great engine and tools, but it focuses on native apps. It focuses on 3D. It's great, but EGRETIA and our tools is focused on HTML5 games. In our HTML industry, I think we are the number one, and we can, we have, I think in HTML5 industry we are better than Unity. Yeah.
Well, obviously, one of the key differences is that when you're dealing with HTML5, like you said, when you're actually playing the game, you're not downloading these large files. If any game that you develop in Unity, you can have huge downloads, like executable downloads and things like that. So there's obviously that difference. Your focus is, I assume, more mobile based. And mobile and web based, basically any platform where you want to be able to get in, get out, get in, have your fun, play your game, do your thing, and then get out without having a trace, and do so seamlessly without having to wait around. So, I guess that would be that. I could probably answer my own question. I just wanted to kind of I'm thinking more from a development perspective. Like if I'm an insomniac, so I do a lot of work during the day, and then sometimes, it could be 2 a.m. and I should be going to sleep, but I just can't. My mind is still going a mile a minute. And so I dive into a side project. And so if I were to dive into a game project where I'm like, all right, so I'm going to spend the next few weeks or months, the wee night hours, working on a game, could I dive in and use EGRETIA to create like the Crypto Crow game? Maybe the object is to collect and get as many cryptocurrencies as possible in this little room of coins, I don't know, just crazy, silly stuff like that. Is that something that I would effectively be able to do without having a huge developmental background and a degree and, all that stuff? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yes, Jason. The thing here is with EGRETIA and EGRET as a combined platform that is HTML5 plus blockchain. You can go big or you can go small, depending on how long your night is. And listening to your voice, I think your last night must have been a very, very short one, by the way. So
I'm so sick right now, it's not even funny.
You can go big, you can go small. It's up to you. I want to be clear. One of the reasons why we have this ICO is we have some development work ahead of us to get the tools out there for final use, for production-ready use. We have everything available, EGRET plus EGRETIA, in testing form for developers. So that's already a commitment that has been made, and EGRET developers have included blockchain functionality in their testing SDK. However, ICOs are for financing development work, and the development work that we are looking forward to get financed, and it's looking really good outside. We will be financed for the development work for the next quarters, where we bring out games as proof of concepts, how easy this can work. We will also bring out a wallet that will be able to hold EGRETIA as a currency that really needs to circulate to make the whole ecosystem work. It needs to circulate among gamers within a game. It can circulate between games. So that's one of the big features. I, as a user, I'm getting a fixed identity vis-a-vis EGRETIA, the token, and I can use the token in one game. That the tokens that I'm holding in my wallet, I can also use them in another game. I can transfer them out of a game into the wallet and transfer them into another game. So this is something that we think is a pretty radically new feature. that we want to leverage. And as a developer, for example, I can get paid for bringing ads into a game using EGRETIA as the currency. So there's a whole new world of things at the horizon as we are seeing it. But we can even start crowdfunding type of things within the gaming community, right? If 100 people think this is a worthwhile effort, they can decide to crowdfund using EGRETIA as a token the initiative of a fellow developer who needs some resources, and they can invest in it, and they can do their own endeavor game-wise. So coming back to how I started the answer, you can go big if your nights are long. You can go small if your nights are shorter. In China, in Japan, we are seeing something very interesting. People start to play games when they have a few minutes on their hands. So I'm saying Subway, you will probably be saying restroom or something like that. But they just take out their phone, click the button, and they start playing, right? And this is what you can do with browser-based games and the token included in that game. So that would.
What is the most advantageous aspect of EGRETIA when compared with other tokens in the same field?
What are other tokens in the same field?
No, well, I don't know. That was a question from the chat. I don't know anything like this, so that's one of the reasons I liked it, because I didn't know of anything else like this.
Let's put on two different hats. Let's put on the hat of the developer. The integration of blockchain technology, the ease how I can integrate a token into my game development will be very, very cool. You do not have to be, our vision is that a developer does not have to be a blockchain technology expert before he or she starts using blockchain technology in the game. We want to be a one-stop shop for game developers and include blockchain technology also. So that's one thing that is different from other games, other game companies. That's how we look at it. So now putting on the hat of a gamer, of a player, even if I'm not sure what this whole blockchain stuff is about, we want to make it a very smooth workflow that how a gamer can become part of the user community of blockchain technologies. The user should be able to install a wallet to get EGRETIA from somewhere and then use that as a currency in one or many games, depending on what the favorite games of the player are. So that should be a new experience that is different from existing games, that kind of broadens the horizons or broadens the opportunities that a gamer has in one game, across multiple games, as an independent person whose status is authenticated. People know who they are talking to when they are talking to me because I have an identity. I cannot be faked. Yeah, so these are some advantages.
When will the SDK be available?
In testing form, it's already available now, right, Peter? For testing purposes?
And we will public release in June.
Okay.
Yeah, next month. Not only the SDK, we are not just SDK, we are workflow. We provide the tools, the local server, the test wallet, and also include the SDK.
Okay. All right, cool. Let's see what...
Jason, I want to mention another thing that just occurs to me.
Sure.
So, especially in China, when it comes to gamings, we sometimes have a little bit of what I would very cautiously call unfairness in the gaming process. We sometimes have, and this may be true worldwide, I just am a little bit more into Chinese and East Asian gaming. We often have administrator personas that almost have godlike power, right? They can do anything and everything within a game because they are the developer, they own the game. For example, if they want to extract a little bit more revenue out of a game, they can just increase the number of assets or props available, right? So developer and I'm drawing a negative picture that is not justified in general, but we have seen tendencies like this. An administrator can just put 10,000 more assets of kind X into the market, and he or she is selling them, and gets more revenue out of the game. But at the same time, there's an inflation in that asset, right? So
basically selling God mode.
Yes, selling in God mode. That's something that the use of EGRETIA as a token and the use of a blockchain will help to avoid, because everybody at all times knows this is how many EGRETIAs I have, this is how many assets are out there, and this is the current price of a given asset. And that's a much more controlled way of playing games than being exposed to the desires of godlike personas that may play a role in those games. So I think that's another big shift in the gaming experience for the players.
Okay. Let's see. I had a question came up, but I forgot what the hell it was, to be honest with you.
You have to take some questions from the chat, Jason, because those guys...
Okay, here's one. I love EGRETIA UID 930937. Take your pick. Let's see here. I would love to ask a question from the chat, man, but this is not stopped or slowed down at all. Like, these people are crazy.
Our Telegram has 12,000 members by now, so we are bombarded with stuff. The reason why I'm saying this is everybody whose question is selected gets double the amount of EGRETIAs if a question is chosen. So,
here we go. What are the advantages when we talk about EGRETIA and the Cocos engine? I forgot all about the Cocos engine. Now, how do I get back? No, I don't want to. What the hell? Oh my gosh. No. How do I get back to our damn call? Oh my goodness. Hold on. Edison was posting some questions, and people can hear you, but they're not going to be able to see you just yet. Let me get this back on point here. There we are. Okay. My goodness. And there we go. All right, now we're back. Oh my God!
I'm right behind you. I have your back, Jason. I have your back.
Okay. All right.
There we go.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's kind of almost pointless to look for questions in the chat right now. It's like going just faster than ever before. So, oh wait, here I see one. Dear EGRETIA, will the platform be available on your smartphone? What OS will support?
Peter, I leave this to you. What platforms will we be available on in terms of OSs, and will we be available on smartphones?
I think both iOS and Android.
iOS, Android, and any web browser, right? I would think.
Yeah, the browsers. You can play all the EGRETIA projects, EGRETIA games or applications on your PC in the browser, and also can use it on your smartphones.
Are you going to be able to make games using your phone?
Make games use your phone. Currently is you cannot do that. You need Windows or Mac OS. Yeah, both OS you can install our workflow and create your own games.
So what is the excuse me, sorry. Typically I've been muting myself. That was came on quick. What are the transactions per second of the EGRETIA network right now? Or this is an ERC20 token, right?
So yes, Peter, TPS is the question. Yeah, let me take a first step, and you correct me where I'm off. Initially, EGRETIA will be an ERC20 token, so it will be living or coexist with Ethereum as the chain to record the ERC20 token. But we are also planning a public chain that is EGRETIA specific, which will have quite a few game-specific features. And we are also already testing how to increase the transaction per second capabilities that we need in order to handle the games accurately and correctly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Peter, anything to add from the insides?
Yes. We will publish our testing test chain in Q4 this year, and currently our test server, the TPS on our test server is reach 2,000 to 3,000, but I want to say TPS should not be used as the only standard for judging the quantity of blockchains. For the game, in the past there was no internet, no smartphones, but there was still a lot of great games. Developers can always full of creative. They should design and build good games based on current, capability of the blockchain. So we also, we are planning also, our EGRETIA blockchain is based on depots, so we are also planning the super nodes, in the future.
So let me ask you this: let's say I wanted to create a like I've recently switched. I've been doing WordPress sites for 20 years, okay, and I realized that like my JasonAppleton.com website was getting 35,000 complex hack attacks in a week, okay, and so I said, all right, well, I'm done. I'm done with WordPress, even though it was pretty secure and I did a pretty decent job of securing it. It's that what if factor. What if I mess this up? What if somebody has a good day and they end up hacking me, getting into my server, and just creating chaos, right? So I switched completely back to HTML. So, like my websites now they're all just HTML. And I'm not using any database driven anything. It's all HTML now. What if I wanted to create like an HTML5 version of my website that has a lot of interactive functionality, and I use the EGRETIA platform to do this and integrate your blockchain tech, and basically I was able to say, hey, come to my website and you can do a little of this, do a little of that, have some fun, you can throw some tokens around, and basically integrate my website into the EGRETIA blockchain. Would that be possible, and what all could I achieve doing that?
Peter, it's yours.
Take it away, Peter.
I think use our workflow. I think it's very easy for you to combine the blockchain features into your games. So,
but you were talking, Jason. You were talking about how can you turn your HTML website into an HTML5 website, which I think should be possible.
Right. Instead of creating a game, I want to create a website using EGRETIA. I want to create an interactive website instead of a game.
If you want to create a website, I think our engine tools just focus on gaming and applications. If you want to create a website, I think you can use Dreamweaver.
Well, okay, but I can take sugar and I can either make chocolate or I can make juice, right? So even though it might be meant for one thing, I can still pull off something else. So I guess that's the question I'm getting at, is how much open-ended flexibility does the platform have for somebody like me who likes to come in and just hack the hell out of it and use it for other purposes? Does that make sense? Like I know that it's focused around gaming, but I don't want to use it for a game. I want to use it for a website with some blockchain functionality and all of that fun stuff.
So, Jason, let me say this. Start considering your website as a game, and then you can use our tools to display whatever you have been displaying before in your site, but come at it from a gaming perspective, right? You can make it. You can create the requirement that authenticated users only come to your website, and for every page view or every paragraph view, you can request them to pay tokens. I'm exaggerating here, right? But if you start looking at your website as a game and kind of change the approach to it, then of course you can do something like that. It's just an extraordinary game, or a game that is a little bit different than other games, but it will be displaying what you have been displaying on your website before. I don't think there's anything fundamental that stands against it. Of course, you will also lose some openness, right? So we all know what HTML is being used for, HTML5 also, but you have to weigh the advantages of looking at your website as a game or as an open and freely accessible website. And you can control both.
Okay. Fair enough. Thanks for asking my question, Crow. You're welcome, JH. You're probably the only real question I've seen in this chat now for 10 minutes.
Well, we should ensure that JA then gets twice the amount of EGRETIA.
Yeah, right.
Even if you ask this question.
Justin Fats. Why did you choose the name EGRETIA?
Okay, let me take this one. So there is the existing company EGRET, which is the beautiful white bird flying above our heads. It's a Chinese company.
That reminds me, I just got pooped on by a bird in New York. It's completely irrelevant. When I think of a bird, I just think of brand new shirt. I just had it for an hour. I literally put this brand new shirt on for an hour, walked through New York City, and a bird crapped all over my shoulder. I had to go into a Men's Warehouse, and I bought like 2 more shirts and a sport jacket. Anyway, go ahead. Damn birds.
The birds seem to love you, Jason.
Yeah. They like closer targets, apparently.
Yeah, I wanted to say, the person maybe walking with you is a right on target bird, right on target. That's where I wanted the poop to land. As long as it doesn't get in your hair, it's okay.
Right, yeah.
So let's get back to EGRET. EGRET, the beautiful white bird flying through the air. China, sometimes, I think I'm fair with my friends, I have many friends in China, saying that there is a lot of poetry involved, often in games and naming. So EGRET shows the bird egret as their symbol. EGRETIA is taking that word egret, and from a morphological perspective is adding IA at the end. If you look at other country names, Arabia, Persia, Colombia, right? This IA always indicates the region where X, Y, Z is happening. So Colombia is the region where, I don't know, Christopher Columbus landed first, or whatever they are thinking, and other things. So IA morphologically indicates a region where the egret is at home or doing beautiful things. And that's where the name EGRETIA comes from.
Who is going to be able? Who all can participate in this token sale? Is the United States blocked out completely?
Yes.
Yes. Not even a U.S. accredited investors can get involved.
As far as I know, yes. And no China also. No Chinese citizens.
No China either. Gosh.
China is very strict. China is very strict on ICOs.
Yeah.
And they have developed very good means of enforcing this. They are not strict on blockchain technology. If you read the news over the last weeks, you will have heard that 8 of the major 9 China banks, these are probably all major banks in China, have invested significant amounts in blockchain technology. So we have to differentiate between coins and
tokens.
Blockchain
and that,
technology.
To me, that's a load of phooey. I mean, honestly, part of me thinks that all this quote unquote restriction really is just to protect the country's currency. I mean, I don't think these countries want their citizens to be able to get rich in cryptocurrency. They want to force everybody to hold on to the American dollar or the yen or whatever. That's just my thing. I just don't think there's really any excuse for it. If they wanted to really police ICOs, well, then they go after the fraudulent ICOs and shut them down. They shouldn't just, it's like, cutting off your arm because you have a splinter. It just doesn't make much sense to me. But that's a whole other issue.
You're entering a vast territory here, Jason.
Right, I know.
What will happen is in China, they are completely open to the use of blockchain where it makes sense for them, like in the banking sector, in the financing sector, stuff like that.
So if a Chinese bank launches a token sale, will all of the citizens of China be able to participate in that? That's what. Well, so like if the Chinese banking or the American banking institutions, for that matter, decide that they want to launch their own blockchain, their own token, their own security, whatever the hell you want to call it, their own coin, right? Will they allow people? Will those also be cut off from all of the citizens in that country, or are we going to be protected from those as well? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a hypothetical question.
Right.
I think if companies use blockchain technology, it does not mean they have to use a token in that, nor does it mean they have to sell a token. So a Chinese bank, a US American bank, is very well capable of harvesting the advantages of blockchain without having to emit a token that can be traded or can be used in a marketplace. So, and I think that's what's happening. That's what we are seeing all over the world. If there is an argument to publish an accepted token within a given country, and I think we can actually put the US and China side by side, because there is a reason why we are excluding US and China, simply because the regulatory environment is so complicated. And if we start selling tokens to US citizens, we have so many implications and requirements that we have to meet, that we, and by the way, almost all other ICOs, do not want to be burdened with, right? We do not want to have to report to the US government, IRS, or tax service institutions. We do not want to have to report what people who are American citizens have bought in our ICO. That just goes beyond not only what ICOs are complaining about, but also banks in Germany. I'm German by birth. Also banks in Germany are complaining about. We are not just giving them the form because we do not know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been hearing that from several CEOs of different blockchain companies. It just seems, and it's, while it's very frustrating as an investor, in a way, I get it, because, the SEC and really the American government in general, obviously, as we've all seen with the crypto tax situation, they just kind of throw out whatever garbage they want and basically tell everybody to deal with it. And they say, oh, by the way, it's retroactive for the last year, 2 years, 3 years, so suck it up and deal with it. And, it's that mentality, that kind of, I don't know, I consider it political and governmental bullying, really. Basically to just come out with a law today and say, oh, by the way, now you have to follow it retroactively for as long as we say. That's what I think is scaring a lot of people, because they know how, just especially, with Trump, man. I don't know how much Trump has to do with a lot of this stuff, but I mean, I like some parts about him and I don't like others. And I don't like, just like with taxation, I have a problem with, like, it'd be one thing to say, okay, we're going to start taxing cryptocurrencies starting in 2018, so everybody needs to make sure that all of your investment practices and everything you're doing is in line with the expectations moving forward. But to do that retroactively, and then to do the same thing with SEC regulations and so forth and so on, it's just jamming everybody up, and it's creating so many problems. And to me, it's just a greed factor. I don't think it has anything to do with protecting anybody. But you don't want to get me started. I'm already getting started. I'm just going to go ahead and calm down and keep the focus back to EGRETIA. All right. So, are there any games out now that have been created using the EGRETIA platform?
Yes. Let me think. For example, you can play.
Are you calling me Dumbo? I know my ears are big, man, but damn.
Yep. Far.game. You can find the crypto city. It's powered by EGRETIA. And
Crypto City?
Yeah. The address is fair.com,
FAIR.com?
.game.
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 Okay. Cool.
You can open and find a crypto city, and you can play it online now.
Okay.
And we will publish I think a bunch of games powered by EGRETIA. Maybe next quarter, you will play
quarter.
them, and yeah.
When do you anticipate hitting exchanges so the guys in the U.S. and China can actually start, crowing some EGRETIA coins?
So the plan here is, Jason, that we already had our private placement, our private sales for the token. We will start the public sale on May 28th.
Okay.
For this, we have high hopes. I don't think we will reach the hard cap pretty soon, fingers crossed. So that should be fine. Then it will take us another 4 to 6 weeks to distribute the token based on the purchases. And at that time, we also need to get out a wallet where users can keep their tokens. And at that time, we expect to be able to make announcements in terms of exchanges where we can have the token be traded by everybody who wants to be involved, and of course also be purchased. But that depends on which exchange we're gonna end up finalizing on, and which country this exchange will be in, and things like that.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. We're about 51 minutes in. I would say, everybody, now's the time to post your UIDs, but I don't think they listen anyway. I'm pretty sure we have them all.
Maybe they are doing the posting of their UID string and I love EGRETIA again at this point. We will have 5 focused minutes.
Oh, wow. I just mentioned it, and it's like quadrupled in seconds. Holy cow.
That's what we want to see. Those are the guys who are doing it now. Those are the guys, the people who get an airdrop from us. We will, in a few days, 1 or 2 days, depending on the number of people dropping their UIDs.
Yeah, have fun counting that.
We will publish a spreadsheet with all the UIDs that we could identify, and so that everybody knows this is not just a game, but at the end of it there is an airdrop, and people will be notified through the publication of a spreadsheet. They just should remain in the Telegram channel so that they see the link to the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I've had people in my Telegram group all over the place. Like, can you get these crazy people to stop spamming? And it's funny because there's no way. This is like Zombie City. Go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
The UID is from Token Need, not Telegram. Is that right? I think the UID is from tokenneed.com.
That's possible. Yeah.
Not Telegram. Yeah.
It's described in the announcement of this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Token Need is our KYC implementer.
Gotcha.
So that's where they get a UID, and that's the one that they need to post. So since I have mentioned it's the Telegram UID, that's of course not correct. I'm thinking that you got many questions. Where do I get the UID from Telegram? So it's a Token Need UID. And for all people who need to figure it out, maybe we should keep talking for 2 or 3 minutes so that they get a fair chance of using their Token Need UID.
Also, public sale is on May 26th, not May 28th.
My mistake. I just came back from Germany yesterday, and I'm flying out to New Zealand today, so I'm in a haze.
Yeah, Dirk. Whatever. Just throw random information out there. Yeah, it's Telegram, and this is all done on the 28th. And I'm a black guy too, just in case you didn't know that. I'm very good at basketball, and I'm very athletic. That's all right, man. We're not here for the facts. It's okay, Dirk. I see a lot of Russian going on in here. Okay, so, all right, well, we're giving some people opportunity to go get their token need IDs to spam the hell out of this thing even more. Give me a, all right, this time next year, tell me this time next year, why am I going to be rich for owning 100,000 EGRETIA tokens, and how do you plan on getting there? Like, what are you guys going to be doing? What are some future partnerships that you're working on that you're probably not going to tell me about yet, but I'm going to try and pry out of you anyway? Give me some juicy meat that I can chew on for a minute that nobody knows.
Nah, that's not going to work. It's not going to work like that, Jason. So we're not giving away anything that nobody knows.
Oh.
But looking at 1 year from now, here's my personal, very positive, best case scenario. EGRETIA as a token will be valuable. I'm not saying how much or
Sure.
what it will be, but the reason why it will have value is the fact that it's the currency of the HTML5 gaming universe that has blockchain technology integrated in it, right? The token will be valuable because it's a good tool.
You hope the
for
token will be
developers.
valuable. You hope the token will be valuable.
Sorry?
You hope the token will be valuable. I'm gonna help you out a little bit. You hope the token will be valuable because
developers will have seen without the token or with the token, it becomes much easier for them to do their work in a gaming universe across multiple games, to be paid for advertising, integration, things like that.
Sure.
From a user perspective, the token will be valuable because they can use it in multiple games. They can use it outside games. They can trade with it if they are blockchain enthusiasts. They can do their trading, but they can also use it as a currency, as a token of value, as a store of value in the gaming universe. They can go into one game deeply and use them to buy assets there, but they can also switch into a new game without having to leave their wealth in the previous game. So token use inside and outside the gaming environments, token truly circulating in the gaming universe, and I mean the overall universe that includes gamers and developers. That's where we should be 1 year from now. Of course, this implies HTML5 blockchain games available, of course, through EGRETIA as a proof of concept, but also through the many thousands of developers that are using our technology. This needs to become independent from EGRETIA. We are not doing games. We are doing a platform for game developers.
Right.
Right.
And just so everybody knows, that this isn't a financial projection in any way. This isn't financial advice. Dirk is literally just stating his opinion. That's all it is. And here's the thing. I see this as this continues to grow and it's adopted by more developers, and we start seeing more and more games launching using the EGRETIA platform, the blockchain launches, that I see this as being an exponential growth in HTML5 use cases as well as the EGRETIA platform. And while, I can't say I think EGRETIA is going to the moon, it's going to be worth a fortune, I can say I see this doing well, and I would suggest everybody out there that gets involved in this to crow your coins, hold it, don't go dumping it. That's not financial advice either. It's just what I do, my personal opinion. I still own the very first cryptocurrency I ever bought. I've sold nothing. The only thing I've ever sold has been Bitcoin. So that being the case, and I didn't want to cut you off there, Dirk. I just kind of wanted to help out a little bit. I'm a little familiar with some of the things that you kind of can and can't say, being on your side of the fence over there. So I just kind of help you out a little bit.
Thanks a lot. Of course, everything was my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody should take this as investment advice whatsoever. But I also want to express that my personal vision, our personal company vision for this is very positive. So, and we try to implement based on our roadmap and ultimately be successful.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, I've been so sick. I'm going to go to bed. My throat is like killing me right now. Peter, Huang, Dirk Meyer, thank you guys for joining me on the Crypto Crow Show. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate your project. And I appreciate you bearing with the antics of the show. You've done well, my friends. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. I see the chat blowing up with all the last minute UIDs. Oh my God. Until next time, which is probably going to be later this afternoon because I'm interviewing Utrust as soon as I wake up at 1:30. So I'll see you guys then. And thank you guys, and I'll see you real soon.
Thanks for having us, Jason. We had a great time. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See you then. All right. Bye, Peter.